It's recording.
Thank you.
Absolutely. What? 7 minutes? I'll just wait till the 10. I'll wait till it says 3:10. I know a lot of people probably either have questions or they're like, where did the surprise come from? And it'll all make sense in a moment. It'll leave people with some decisions to make, what they want to do, but I think some of these people want these decisions. So we're going to give them to them. You know what I mean? Because it's the same question on a daily, really. It's when's this and when's that? Like, what day is this and what day is that? And basically, you know, the roadmap outlines all of it. And we have no problem hitting those target dates at all. To prove that we don't have a problem hitting those target dates is one of the reasons. The second reason is people seem to want out or maybe not believe in the concept or whatever the case may be, or think they can buy out and then come back when it's closer to the time. Like we're gonna give everybody what they want now at this point, and if they want to leave it in fate's hands, they can. They can, you know what I mean? There's some things that are gambles and some things aren't, and we've been telling everybody since day one that this is one of those gambles. This is something that been programmed, written out, well thought out, and it's going to be delivered. So basically, it's 3:10. Well, so basically, what we're going to do is before the staking platform even opens up, we're going to launch Nuke Z with zero tax at a higher price with the liquidity that we have, that we've been storing away for the whole time since we've began Nucleus. And we're gonna erase some digits for everybody, and it's going to be available for anybody and everybody to do what they please. That same day, the staking platform, or before that, will be open for Nucleus Z, and that'll be your choices now. Everybody wants to know what to do with their Nucleus constantly. And we honestly don't know what some people are doing, if they're selling it for Ethereum to put behind their Dex runner to get Dex Rash, if they are just non-believers or non-holders, or if they think that they want to swing trade or day trade and they're going to 10x something somewhere else and do better. And we want to give everybody what they want, right? That's what we've always wanted to do, and that's pretty much the culture that we went by since we started Nucleus and Dex Runner. So what we came up with a plan is we'll release the tax on Nucleus, and we will launch it at a higher price, like we promised. The staking period will begin as well, and those extra zeros will be coming off once the staking platform or the staking period ends. The staking period will end once all Dex Runners products are operational. So that'll be like the little caveat to it. So you will be able to trade it. It won't be on the CEX yet, but it'll have zero tax and it'll be worth more money. If you want to dump it, go ahead and dump it and have fun with it when it comes time. It's not that long away now, and it'll be zero tax. So everyone will get what they want in that sense. The people that do want to wait for the larger number, they will be able to stake it. And someone asked about reflections. So the only people that will get reflections are people that are staking their Nucleus or holding it, one or the other. Anybody that is still, actually, I think the only way it'll really work is if you staked it to get the reflections, because once Nucleus Z is opened, that'll be, we're going to remove the tax, and there will probably be impossible to take reflections at that point unless it was staked. So then if it's staked, we can give the reflections to the people that are staking. If you do not want to be in Nucleus anymore, or you just, you have an enormous size bag and you really feel that you want to sell it or sell some of it and you're just so conflicted, well, that'll be your day. It'll be your choice, and it always has been your choice. It's always been a fair market. We promise something, we're going to deliver it, and we're going to deliver it in two folds. That's all now. I go through the call maybe 10 times a day. I get 10 calls a day from sometimes the same, sometimes they're different investors and different people. And I don't mind them at all. I spend as much time as I can. Sometimes I ramble probably longer than they do. And I've actually met some really cool people and made some really cool relationships that way as well. But Ghost came up with this idea, and Sean agreed, and I wasn't hard to convince at all, because again, I'm like, I feel these calls, I feel these messages, and it's always, when's New Z, how's it going to work, how are you going to do this, how are you going to do that? Well, we're going to show you, because we're going to release it early. We're going to release it at a higher price like we promised. The extra zeros in the CEX will be available, and when that becomes available, the people that held it or staked it, they'll reap the rewards of it. I feel like that's the most fair way we can possibly do this at this point. Like, actually going, not reverse, kind of speeding up the roadmap in a sense. The proof will be in the pudding. You know what I mean? If you don't want to do any of the above, you're not obligated to. You can stick to the roadmap and watch and stick to the plan, and you'll be rewarded just as greatly as we promised day one. So basically, that's what we came up with. Is that we thought that would be a pretty good gift to give back to the holders in the community, and especially the people. I think Nucleus has been up for, I guess, over 40 days now. I forget the date we were launched at this point. It feels like years ago. I still think some of the other events at Coin Agenda, some of the other people I ran into and had the pleasure of spending time with, they said, "When did you think that happened?" And I'm like, like last year sometime. And they're like, "No, 4 months ago." 4 months ago. What? Because a lifetime, a minute's a lifetime in our world, in our space. And we get it. We understand that people, even though the roadmap clearly stated when it would be going off, people still want to know when. It's like, it says it there, but if you're asking when because you want to sell it, well, we're going to give you that day. We're going to turn the tax off, and everybody can do as they please. I, for one, will be staking mine. I want those reflections. That was my plan from the beginning. Anybody that's called me and asked me advice or what I would do personally, that's how I've told them in the beginning, and that's still what I'm going to do now. I'm personally going to stake my Nucleus until the CEX picks it up, and then I'm planning on shaving it, on the highs daily. That's the truth of the matter. That's exactly what I want to do. I want to be passive income. I want, if it's 500 a day, 1,000 a day, 5,000 a day, whatever it comes out to be, I'm going to do that. That's the way I'm going to work my Nucleus. I'm very confident in the plan, and some of the applications that will be available to use to help me navigate that world. I'm really excited for them as well. So the way Dex Runner has been coming together perfectly in our eyes, it makes perfect sense to give everybody what they want. You have your total choice at that matter. Like, you don't have to feel conflicted when it comes to, am I just going to sell the day that Nucleus Zero comes out? Am I going to put it in the Dex Runner? What am I going to do? Well, you'll have full control, full choice of what you want to do with your Nucleus Zero and when it comes out. If you want to wait for the bigger number that comes with it, with the injection, well, that'll be at the end of the seed sale and at the end of the final product rollout. This way, instead of waiting until, whatever date we had planned, now we're going to just do it immediately after. As soon as the seed sale fills up and hits our soft cap, it's going to get launched, and it's going to be a fun day. And then there's going to be one more fun day after that, and then hopefully a lot more fun days after that. So please tell me somebody has a question.
Hey, Casey, I have a question.
Go for it.
Thanks for the explanation.
No.
So when you have to hold Nucleus, right, in order to kind of get that bump for Nuke Z, right? To get the so you're saying that the price point's going to be higher with Nucleus Z, but then when the Dex runner is fully functional, that's when it's going to get ridiculously higher, and a couple of zeros will get knocked off.
Yes.
Okay, so let's say, because before it was holding Nucleus, that is how you got the better price point. But since now
Correct.
It's going to be in 2 parts, what if someone buys Nucleus Z after it's launched but never held Nucleus? Did they also jump to the zeros, or how does that work?
Okay, so when they buy the Nucleus Z, okay, then that'll be up to them when it's just gonna be an injection. It's gonna be an injection of liquid. So those numbers are gonna come because of the injection of liquid and the purchase of the supply from the central exchange. So that's what's gonna happen. That date won't be like so much as announced as it was going to be anymore. It'll be more of it's coming and then boom, it happens. It's going to be that's going to be a cool thing as well. And we thought of this because not only because to give people what they want, but it's I personally have gotten the feeling that there's a lot of people that just want to sell because they see this big amount of money in their bag, this fiat value in their Xerion or in their wallet, and they really don't know. They're so conflicted probably daily. Should they sell? Should they hold? Should they sell? Should they hold? Well,
right.
we're gonna give you the opportunity. As far as the bump in the number, that will have nothing to do with the contract at all. So that'll just be an injection of liquid.
Okay, so all right, so the reason I'm asking, right, is because there's someone that I'm trying to get into Nucleus that usually only deals with like the XRP side, that kind of side, like doesn't deal with Ethereum, right? So I gave him all the information and he's into it. He wants to jump in it, but so it's more of like, let's say if this launches soon and he doesn't end up buying a lot of Nucleus and he starts at Nucleus zero, is it basically just him buying at a slightly higher price point but still eligible?
Absolutely.
Okay, so
it's still going to be Nucleus. It's still going to be the lowest entry point for Dex Runner. It's still going to be getting the bump in price. It's still going to be the hub of our ecosystem. There's nothing really changing except for the date where the tax will be removed and there will be a price bump in to give everybody not only a fair chance or a fair shot, but some people might not want it launched that early because they might have just bought in recently. Some people might not want to launch that early because they know the potential of it.
Yeah.
There's could be a million reasons people want what they want, but our reason is to give them what they want, and by giving them the choice, I don't know any other way that I could really make it any more fun or any more easily explainable.
No, I can respect that. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I have a question. Why aren't we just doing like a straight fork and then forcing everybody to go from Nuke to Nuke Z versus making this an option?
Well, good question, because that's basically what everybody does, right? They pull the liquid, they fork it, and then they airdrop everybody, and then there's the one concern that everybody has is always was I airdropped what I was owed? Because how do you really know? But this 1-for-1 ratio would be on a Nuke to Nuke Z swap. With that being said, we are just going to open that up and allow them to trade if they want. The other parts of the collaborations, as far as the different games and NFTs and the Launchpad and the Liquid Locker, that'll all be revenue generating either way, and they'll even be feeding liquid pools of others. But first and foremost, it's going to be available to trade. So it's going to act like the ETH layer 1, layer 2 idea, where you could buy ETH layer 2 at the price you bought it at, and then you're going to agree to stake it. Well, that's the same scenario here, but we're just giving you options. It's still Nuke Z. It's still the same contract it was going to be. Nothing has changed. It's just that I can tell that people definitely want out or they can't make their mind up, and I want to help them along to do it.
Hey, Casey, I have a question. Remember during the last VC, you mentioned that token count was the name of the game. Is that still full
Sure
true?
is. Yes, sir.
And I remember you mentioning what fuck you money was. What token count do you think we need to have to get that fuck you money?
So my threshold personally is what I tell everybody is if you can get over 1 billion, you're good. You should have some pretty good money. FU money is, different for everybody. I have friends that are probably either in this voice chat or in other places that have what I would consider to be FU money, and they don't, you know what I mean? So what I consider fuck you money is what's going to happen after the staking is over. That's been my plan from the beginning. I ain't changing it. I'm not worried about what it's going to look like. I expect 50% of the people will sell off. The other 50 will do exactly what I'm doing, and sellers get wrecked, right? I mean, that's just been the name of the game from day one. So, that was a way to kind of just give back and give everybody that what they've been looking for is that answer and that date. Well, basically, we're telling you that it's happening in the next couple of weeks. And the reason about the fork is everybody does that, and what happens is no one likes it. A, B, once that's pulled, everyone's stuck waiting, and they're waiting until they get their airdrop, and they get their airdrop, and then the public buys, and then the people get the airdrop dump. That's the experience I've had with any pre-sale or any type of staking or vesting period that I've been involved in. The fork is a new contract that would pull the liquid and then have to move it to the new liquid pool. We want to do a migration. We don't want to cost anybody no money than they've already spent. We don't want anyone to, need the money and not be able to get it out and feel conflicted. And we also don't want anyone to feel like they got roped into something they didn't want to be involved with.
So when you have you can have a website or something where you go and you link your wallet and you basically swap out Nuke for Nuke Z. Is that the idea?
Basically, yeah. On the platform will be a tab or a wallet, and you'll turn in your Nucleus, and in return you'll get Nuke Z.
And when that website is open, will Nuke Z already be live at that point, or will there be a waiting period between if the first person did it, are they gonna have to wait for so many other people to do it before the Nuke Z contract is live, or will the Nuke Z contract be live for the first person to swap?
Right. I think I got your question. You said, from your understanding, that it'll be live for the first person to swap. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so if like there's not going to be a period where if the first person swaps from Nuke to Nuke Z, they're going to have to wait 3 days for the Nuke Z contract to be live. It's
Oh no,
automatically
that's my reason for the not forking. It's going to be a migration of liquid and an injection of liquid.
and there'd be no difference for anybody. Like, so the moment you open the website and you say, okay, now you can exchange your Nuke for Nuke Zero, there's no advantage or disadvantage to doing. I mean, if you are going to do it, like, there's no advantage or disadvantage to doing it as soon as possible or waiting a day.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a few advantages. One was the reflection question. Do we expect a lot of people to sell because it's even worth more than what they thought they had? Sure. Do we expect a lot of investors to either stake it or hold it? We do. We do because this community's proven strong. We've delivered on every promise that we've made, and anybody that wants that promise, that ultimate goal, that wants to follow the white paper and the roadmap, they're perfectly allowed to. But we made statements along the way about, if someone wants out, just do it respectfully. Well, no one seems to really want to do that. Like, everyone's afraid to say I went out. I'm not personally one of those people. I just go with the flow. Half the time I end up with dust in my wallet anyway. And it just seems like it would be a really fair gift to give to these people that are looking to, sell out early or not hold it. So let's give them what we promised. And they can sell early. Huh?
I'll ask one last question because I feel like I'm hogging all the questions here.
No, you're fine.
So if you had let's say you have 1 billion tokens, which is currently worth about $20,000. Okay,
Okay.
after you convert that to Nuke Z, and after it's been fully funded, before the CEX listing, what do you think conservatively that might be worth?
I really don't know what the exact number would be. I mean, I know we're bouncing up and down off the floor lately, the last day or two, since that wallet that was nuking us left. We've been bouncing a little bit at the lower levels. I really think it was just the amount of buybacks and buy pressure that wallet that dumped kind of took away from everybody. Knowing that, we want to give everybody the opportunity to decide on their own, not for us to tell them when, where, and how.
Hey, Casey, one more question. So if, let's say, we're swapping, you got a billion tokens. I'm not asking for the price, but we got 1 billion tokens. And let's say I don't want to say you because I don't want to, let's say, Joe Schmo has 2 billion, right? But
Yeah.
Joe Schmo he does his swap of 2 billion before I do my swap of 1 billion, and
Mhm.
he sells right away.
Right.
What happens to my billion? Is it now worth less? Is it almost kind of like a race to get
We're not
to
going to make it
swap
a
first?
race.
Okay, cool.
That's the reason we're not going to make it a race.
Okay, cool.
Here it is. If I think with this amount of time now, like kind of giving you closer to a timeline, that what'll happen will be the people that really want to get out that early or get out at that day, they'll be ready and waiting. It'll be as simple as a swap on the platform, just like claiming a reward in a sense, where you'll turn them in, and you'll come out with a higher number. If you want to hit the swap button right away, that's your prerogative. If people want to take half and sell half and put the other half in the staking, that's their prerogative too. I wouldn't recommend just leaving it in the open for no reason, because because at that point, I heard. Give me 1 second, please. I heard you. Yes. Sorry, I have to get my kid in about a half hour. So, you know, we're not going to make it a race. It's going to be kind of like claim your rewards, claim your tokens. And just like the Dex Runner platform for anybody that's logged in, you know, you can see exactly what's vested, what's been put in your wallet already. It's the same, going to be the same idea. And
Okay.
yeah, if
I
you,
just want to
you know,
make sure to swap, because fork I understand. With swap, I've never really done that before, so I'm not planning on selling. I believe in what's happening. I love the team. I trust that you guys have been nothing but, you know, upstanding. I'm all game for Nucleus, Nuke Z, Dex Runner, all of that. I just
right,
want to make sure that, like, the entry point of getting in, like, let's say I didn't wake up early enough or whatever, that my tokens will still be worth the same as it would be if I swapped before or after the whale. I know if someone sells, I know obviously it's going to go down, but I'm saying, like, at the starting point, if we all start, you know, even if someone swaps and sells before I just happen to know that the swap is open for me to hold,
right.
that it's I'm not gonna swap down if I am, you know, 20 minutes late. Does that make sense? Like,
Wait a
I want to
second,
make
they're blowing the sprinklers out of my complex. Let me get my car. That was super loud. Oh my god. Oh, can everybody hear me?
yes.
Good. Okay, so my recommendation would be for something like that, and especially if you're worried about something like that happening, would be to secure your number. Yes. You know, when the correction's done, then you can still unstake it and decide to sell it if you don't want to wait. You know, but because at that point it's going to be launched, it'll be live. Some people will dump, some people will buy, some people will film it back, some people won't. You know, but the one way to secure it would be to just stake it and wait for the new number.
Okay, so that will be available before it goes live for
Correct.
anybody. Okay, that was okay, perfect.
Yep.
No,
So
that
we're
helps.
giving you an out, and we're giving you protection against the people that want the out.
Perfect. Great way to explain it. All right, thank you. And again, I don't want the out. I love you guys, and
Oh yeah.
I think anyone's crazy, you know, to
We're
do
not
that, but to each their own.
sure, Jay. And listen, we want everyone to know this isn't because we're not upset at anybody that wants out or any of that. What we want is everyone to make the the full amount, and we all know what happens if one person decides to push the button. Then you know, then everybody else is stuck waiting, right? So
Yep.
the way we came up with a plan was to originally was just to make it such a high number it wouldn't matter. But it seems that a lot of there's been a lot of people that don't really want to wait or either don't believe in the concept. We've all seen the FUD behind it. Or if you haven't, then you know you'll eventually run into it. I'm sure that you know that this is impossible or that we can't do it or whatever the case may be. Well, I mean, at this point, the proof will be right there for you. Yeah, and because if you didn't believe in it, there wouldn't have been a sell. Like I haven't. So if anybody has any question, like I have my original purchases that I made. That wallet has been closed and locked all since day one. I know the plan the whole time. It still isn't getting sold. I had my other wallet that I used to buy dips to help support the chart, help support the the project to do, and also invest more money as I wanted to, as I got it into my pocket. So at that time, that was what I did with that. But what I'm telling you is when I got my original price point, that has not changed because again, when I said that those are the lowest prices you're going to see it, they are. Even now that the prices went down, go and buy an ETH worth of Nucleus and see if you get the same amount you would have got 3 weeks ago at a different price. It's just not going to happen. The liquid pool is a lot bigger. The impact's different. It's just not going to work out the same way. So, we haven't made up any story about any of it. We try to give everybody perfect direction and which way to go and how we're going to make our own money personally. And knowing that that was the plan, my best advice to anybody was really just, if you do what I do, you'll make exactly, or you'll all probably make more, because being that I barely did buy after day one, I'm not the top holder. You know what I mean? All of you probably have a lot more than me. And I know I already have the math out in my head of how much it's going to, like, I have a good idea what it's going to be worth when that staking period's over. I'm totally confident in it. For anybody that's not confident, I want them to be able to make that decision and exit with the zero tax that we promised at a faster timeline than we promised, just to prove that that was the whole plan. It's like, that everything we've done so far was to showcase and to prove what Dex Runner and what Nucleus were about, what the ecosystem could do. And what better way was to release it a little bit early for the people that were on the fence.
I really respect this decision, and the transparency, and even from someone who's not going to sell. Like, at first I was like, wait, I got worried, but like, it's really respect. Like, it just makes me believe in it that much more. You guys are legit. You guys are right on, and we appreciate you. I'm behind you, Casey.
We appreciate it. We appreciate you too, Jay, and everybody else. We appreciate the whole community, and we really do. It's just that, I can feel I can feel it when people call me or they message me and they're like, well, what about this date, or what about that date, or how are you going to pull this or that off? And like, it's not that it's redundant, but it's just that we haven't lied or held back yet. We haven't, we haven't tried to say, oops, oh, just kidding, guys, we're only doing this, or, oh, we're pulling the liquidity now, nobody knows where their money is until the fork happens. Like, all that's, all that fear and unknown doubt can be removed completely. And the people that hold will be rewarded. The people that buy in even will be rewarded. The people that buy in once Nuke Z launches will be rewarded. I mean, that day is coming one way or the other, and it's going to come on time. What we're doing is we're all for, again, it's just anybody that didn't think that we were going to release the tax, or that we were ever going to just keep this going as some kind of gambit to keep it moving. That's not the way, because if anybody listened to any of the voice chats that we put on, or any AMAs where anybody's had a conversation with me one-on-one, I've explained that we have, as a team, have not sold our tokens. Our team, we didn't take allocations. Anything that was bought with our own money. The only rule we had as a team and a core team was anything you buy on day one, you can't sell, because we know what the impact of that would do to a chart, A, and B, where's the faith in the team if the team is selling their own product, right? So that was the only rule we put behind the team, was that those day one buys, you can't sell those, or else you're off. I feel we set up a payroll system for anybody that doesn't know, because I've had questions. Why does this wallet disperse this much money every day? Well, anybody that's called me and asked me, I've told them that's payroll. Everybody that works for Dex Runner or Nucleus gets paid daily, and that's the truth. And if you have questions about that, you can pick a random employee or person that has a tag on their name, or someone that is an admin, a mod, a consultant, in any shape or form that have marketed for us. They get paid. It comes from a deployer wallet and a payroll system that our devs were able to set up for us. That and that's how we did it. It's a very small tax token as it is. We try to be very generous and make sure everyone is taken care of and happy. It seems that sometimes people still, it's just human nature. if people want more. So we're going to give them more. What else can you do, right? Give them what they want.
How long is the staking period?
So the staking period is it's not a length of time. It's at the end of the product rollouts, and that's like it's going to follow exactly what the roadmap says.
Okay.
So yeah, it's just gonna all we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the staking platform early, allow you to stake your Nucleus then, so you don't have to worry so much. You don't have to feel like your price is going up or down or left or right. You really don't even. I mean, you're not going to see it at that point. It's going to be in your platform. If you want to go log into the platform every day and make sure that it's still there, that's it's totally up to you. But it's still going to be there, and the new price is still coming. It's just going to be 2 different prices coming out. Now there's going to be this first level that we're going to release it at, and we'll do an injection. Anybody that's had a private conversation with me out of any fear and unknown doubt they had, I basically showed them, how I'm able to protect and how I'm also able to perform what we're offering. We've been stockpiling away the money. Whenever we have a high volume day or whatever, we don't take that money and put it in our pocket. We put it into a safe. It's a multi-sig safe, and that has been building and building and building. That's going to be the injection that makes that number happen. It's not hard to figure out like how we're going to do it. We're not going to make a number up and relaunch it and just hope everybody's going to have to race to the end. It's going to be backed by a liquid pool that can support it.
Casey, people are asking questions in the main chat.
Okay. I can go to the main chat. Let me get there. Is it that they don't want to text it? They don't want to type it, or speak it?
Yeah, I guess because I know at least one of them is on the voice. They were asking how long is the staking period more or less?
So the staking period is just it's just going to be opened earlier. It's not going to be anything longer. It's going to be opened earlier. And I'll tell anybody that hasn't ever had a one-on-one conversation with me, this was my plan from the beginning with my Nucleus. I still wasn't going to sell on launch day. I was going to keep it staked. I was going to keep accumulating reflections while I was staked. So everybody can do their sell off and get a big amount of money. And I'm happy, and that's what I want. I've had conversations with people that told me they've already bought a house with this money. I've had people that have renovated their house. I've had screenshots from people, from single parents saying you changed my life. Not me, but like Nucleus changed their life or was life-changing money for them. Great, and the thing is, we're happy when it's done respectfully that way. There was people that was disrespectfully did things for whatever their reason or motive was. It's a fair market. It doesn't matter. But it's over. That's over. So we wanted the person that was constantly torching the buyback money out of everybody, taking the buy pressure away out, and they're out. And now that they're out, it seems that nobody is the buy pressure maybe kind of got eaten up by that wallet, that person that we're speaking of. So we don't want anybody to be disappointed. And first and foremost, that would mean we didn't deliver. If we don't deliver, then where's the credibility? Where's the integrity behind the team that we and the culture we stand for? That's the reason for it. So my whole plan was originally to stake even past launch day. Once everything corrected, then I was just going to sell bits and pieces at a time. Just like as a pump, then I would take a little bit off the top every day for as long as I possibly can make that last. It's going to be a new number, a new price point. It's going to go down, it's going to go up. And the whole time I'm just going to collect reflections. That's what I'm going to do. Once I feel that it kind of leveled out and it's corrected, then I will decide I start selling. So the staking period will be open early, and you'll be able to stake it as long as you possibly wish. You can leave it there for a year if you want to collect reflections. It's, you know, that's what investment's about. You know, earning a type of interest or dividend on your money.
I'm new to staking, Casey. So when we're putting, if I'm staking, you know, all or half or X% of whatever I'm, you know, decide at the time, you know, you're accruing reflections. So one, how much are the reflections? How are they distributed? And does it happen immediately? Sorry, I'm new to that.
I'm sorry. So it sounded like a couple of different questions.
It was. Sorry. So I put in, you know, X%,
Just,
you know,
yeah,
into
half.
staking.
Sure. Just say you did half and half.
Sure.
Great. Okay.
So I got half in there. Now with the reflections from staking, what percent is the reflections? Is my first question.
I don't want to answer that without Ghost doing the math.
Okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it's not, I'm sure it's going to be very similar to what they are now because the burns are going to continue to happen. So, I
okay.
mean, the reflections came in a form of a tax that was we used to buy back, and then we burned it, and that's
Right.
how the price kept, you know, the floor kept rising and rising and rising. That's how the reflections were dispersed evenly. So, you know, we're going to set a manual burn in there, so the supply will burn on its own this time. It won't be a manual burn anymore. It'll be an automatic burn, you know, with sales and stuff like that. But as far as the percentages, I don't know them off the top of my head.
That's fine. Are the reflections gonna? Is it in the same form, or is this different? And
Yes,
it's
in the same
okay.
form, because the value, the supply is going to continue to deflate. So as the
Right.
supply deflates, it creates more demand, supply and demand, and that's how like a true reflection should be. Any other way you do it, you're kind of, you know, you're keeping the same amount, your same tokens in circulation. So the value of them goes up at such a smaller rate because it only goes up when you buy it. And we're talking about things like quadrillions and trillions and billions here. At those rates, it's not going to, it's like that's money for our kids. So if we did it that way, you know, that and it never seems to work, right? Like everybody that we've seen a million tokens come out with all these different reflections and rewards, and at some point they turn to dust. It just happens, right? And like it shouldn't have. Like you feel like you're like the math it all made sense. Well, there's a reason, because if the supply doesn't deflate, then the value can't increase fast enough. Not at, you know, those numbers. If we were to release a million tokens, that's a different story. If that was just a million tokens and that was it, then I could see that those kinds of reflections working for somebody. But at the numbers that we release in this micro crypto space, this seeding space, I call it, it has to be done at a manual rate, you know, where you can actually control the supply and make it deflate at a rate that matches the amount of holders / the circulating supply versus the value of the token at the current time.
Okay. And the only so the token essentially is it gets reflections, which is burned only from those that are getting staked. Is that
Yeah. So no.
okay?
So the people that,
Sorry, I'm
so
trying to wrap my okay.
yeah,
Sorry,
it's
what?
okay. So now there's going to be a big chunk of our community that wants to sell on the first release, the first Nuke Zero release, the first tax release, the
Okay.
first new price. When they sell, there will be a burn function in there. So it'll burn a percentage of the sale,
Okay, got it.
just like
Okay.
Ethereum does as it is, you know?
Okay. Sorry, I got confused when you were
that's okay.
saying like the staking and then getting reflections from those from the
Right.
stake.
Without a tax actually being there. I get it.
Got it. Okay. All right.
Yep. No, it's going to be in the same sense that like the same way like Ethereum does, you know, where they burn the supply. It's, you know, we don't have to actually have tax in there to redistribute wealth.
Got it. Perfect. Thanks.
That's what DeFi is about, right? Like decentralizing it and like no one's controlling how the wealth is redistributed, and you really never know who's getting more or less. It's even across the board this way.
Yeah. As a smaller fish, I can appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Me too.
I had a quick
Yeah.
I had a quick question, Casey, which you might have already answered earlier, but I just joined like 10 minutes ago. I know we talk about, going from Nucleus to Nucleus Zero and potentially, shaving off a zero or a few zeros. I was just curious kind of where that comes from. I know part of that is from being on different exchanges and the liquidity behind that, but I was just curious if you could talk a little bit more on that.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I just said, that maybe did you come on a little later, or were you on since the beginning?
Yeah, I just got on like 10 minutes ago, so I apologize.
Okay, that's okay. No, you're fine. So every time somebody tried to sell above the price impact, which we saw how many times? A lot, right? And we all know what happens
Yeah.
with that. They're taxed extra. There's penalties that Uniswap enforces. And when that happens, that goes back to the wallet that it's the buyback wallet is where it goes. And what we did is we put a function in to redistribute that extra anything over 2% to an extra safe. And anybody along the way that's asked me, I've showed them a screenshot, shared my screen, or whatever I've done with them. I've given them access to see it. It's there. So that alone will change the number by itself. It'll shave zero result by itself. That was just one of the. So what we're gonna, in essence, what we're doing is we're gonna shave off, whatever we can shave off for the first round. But when we truly release all the product, and the promise was there to that roadmap, when that roadmap ends, that number will still be the same number too, because that's going to be fed by so many different collaborations and parts of the ecosystem that feed the liquid pools. Part of the seeding that we're doing, the Dex Runner seeding event that turns to Dex Rash, that part of that money is going to be used for it. There's going to be liquid coming from a lot of directions to make those zeros go away. It's the more patient they are, the more zeros they're going to lose when they decide to sell. It's really just trying to follow the true outline and roadmap that I can't say everyone, that most people try to perform. And I think that really, I truly believe now, after this much time, that a good portion of what we think are either bad actors or scams or any of that kind of stuff, I think sometimes they were just failed attempts. Because we've learned over the time that there's a lot more than just writing a code down. There's equations, there's there's price impacts that have to match. There's adjustments that have to be made the longer that the contract is running, and the higher the purchases that come into play. You need maintenance. I run in the different tokens where there's creators, and they talk about like collaboration or anything along the lines, and I'm open to it all the time. But I do need to always ask them, like, well, who's the developer, or how many developers, or any of those stuff. And when the answer is like, well, there isn't one, like they subcontracted out and they're the creator, so they're the owner, they are a developer. In essence, they're a developer. but they're not a Solidity developer. They don't write code. So if you don't have that on your team, on your squad, that can constantly maintenance and upgrade the contract and make sure that everything's running properly, I'm well aware of the end result of that. It will eventually, fail. I've seen it. I've seen every which way of a failure can happen. I've literally been people thought, like what happened with this one or what happened with that one. It was a failure, like we miscalculated the price or the dev, maybe not even wait. Maybe it was something I marketed for somebody and the dev miscalculated something. But it's more than just writing a code down, and if it was just that easy, it would have been developed a long time before we're getting to it now, we owe it all to, obviously, Satoshi or Bitcoin, right? For really setting the floor and setting the standard for how this was done. It's done it's done at a time, or a time period where eventually it's just going to end. And so that's why, for instance, Bitcoin value will always increase because it's a supply and demand thing. There's a limited number that's going to be released. Same thing we're doing with this on a larger scale, and we're putting it right in circulation, and then what we personally have done have burned the supply to deflate it and give it more of a supply and demand value. It's the same thing. It's the same program. It's the same everything, but you do need somebody to constantly maintenance that thing. And you can ask, then something like Bitcoin is not it's not owned by any one person, right? Because the way that's done on an algorithmic scale where it's impossible that they can ever reach the end before a certain time, because you can't get to the next block until you finish the first one. You can't get to the next equation until you finish the first one. It's the same idea and concept behind it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. I know there has to be more questions because no one was expecting this today, and I wasn't even expecting to be able to announce it today. I knew about it 2 days ago. I didn't know that I was going to be able to announce it today, but it just seemed like, after the consensus of the three of our core team, we just basically need we wanted to give everybody more peace of mind and say, all right, you want out at zero tax, here it is. You want out at a bigger number, here it is. If you want to wait for the promise that we offered, that's also still available to you. So, more options, more decentralization, more is better, right? And more happiness.
So what exact time frame, and you can just give a range at this point, do you
Yeah.
think that the Nuke to Nuke Z website will be open or portal?
As soon as the seeding is finished.
Oh, the seeding for Dextro now.
Correct. Because we're going to be launching.
People...
So we're launching it from our own launch pad. We're not going to launch Nuke Z from somebody else's launch pad. That's something, unfortunately, that we're going to have to wait for. That I can't change. We're not going to launch our tax-free token from somebody else's launch pad. And with that being said, we're not going to release the product before the seeding's out is complete. Another part to that is that we have changed the cap on the seeding. We still would love to raise the 10 million. We still have the evaluations that say that we can raise 10 million, but we're going to make it a soft cap, and we lowered it by a ton. And that was actually an argument that I've had since this all started. I wanted it at a lower market cap. Reason being, if anybody remembers that's still here, that's still part of the community, a couple of weeks ago, I had made a statement. I said, we hold the 10 million mark and I have a venture capitalist that's going to put us at the 20 million mark, right? And that's what we did. The same way I know that is the same way I know this. You know what I mean? It's not like these aren't pipe dreams. These are either verbal handshakes or commitments that have been made. We know where it's coming from. We have backup and contingency plans. It's not like something at this point. I think the only thing that can go wrong is all three of us are on the same airplane, the same one that goes down, because the plan's in place, the program's done, the platform's done. It's just there has to be some kind of order to the to this madness. If I'm going to keep on just releasing product.
Sure.
And
So, but I understand you probably already have people, lined up to buy into Dexrunner, but they haven't
yes,
done that yet.
yes.
So but that's going to be happening soon over the next few weeks.
Well, it's going to have to happen before the seed round closes.
And that closes in 3 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the next 3 to 4 weeks, you're going to see a huge injection of investors that you've lined up
Yes.
into Dexrunner, and then hopefully you're going to we'll hit the 10 million cap, and then once that's hit, then Nuke to Nuke Z conversion.
Well, no. So that's where we're going to change for you. What we're doing is we're going to release Nuke Z as soon as the staking platform's over, whether the cap has been reached or not, is what we're saying.
So regardless of whether you meet the 10 million or not, within 3 to 4 weeks, when the staking period ends, the Nuke news is going to happen regardless of how much money has been invested.
Yes. The only difference that's going to put on anything now is when the final price is available for Nuke Z. When I say it's never the final price, but when the central exchange buys up the supply, that's necessary.
So just so I make sure I understand and maybe help anybody else. So when the Nuke to Nuke Z transition goes ahead, which is going to be in 3 to 4 weeks, there's going to be a liquidity injection from this bank wallet that you've got set up. But then once the Dexrunner staking is complete, like you've met the 10 million or whatever it is, the number you're trying to hit, then there'll be an additional injection of cash, and there'll be an additional jump in price, and then potentially there's going to
in essence and in theory, yes. It's not necessarily when this or that happens. It's going to be more like when the central exchange buys up the supply, and that's the day. That's the real day.
That's the and that's I was going to say that's the third price jump, is when the CEX comes in, and they buy up because they have to hold the coin to be able to trade it on their exchange.
Correct.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I just want to thanks for answering all the questions. I mean, this is just a great. Somebody said before, it's a great team, and just love the honesty and having these chats. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I would open them up more if we weren't so busy. We did bring on some new people, and over the next couple of weeks, I imagine you'll get to meet them, because they'll be advising and helping people through things, and they'll be helping you. If you have questions, we're going to have people that are available. If you have questions on how to invest, on what their advice would be, we have we have some consultants that we're making full-time partners. We have some technical support that we're going to bring in for other types of issues that could arise. We're bringing on. We're going to increase the size of the team, and it's going to free up me, honestly, a lot more time to do stuff like this, like to open the voice chat up and give you a little bit of a advance notice on what's next. With all that being done, holding Nucleus is still going to have a benefit. So selling it all off is, your choice. But remember, once Dexrunner is open, we have 6 products already on the site that are available and ready and working and we just haven't enabled them. They're listed. on the site. We have partners that everyone has, not everyone, but a lot of people have seen, you know, the graphics that have been dropped in in multiple places. So we still have partners to add to the site. That's going to also help the pool, the liquid pools. That way, that's going to be a part of it. So anybody doesn't understand it, this ecosystem, the way it's going to work in these collaborations, is that one is going to feed the next. So if you're one type of token, your fraction of your tax is going to go to this person's liquid pool. And if you're this type of token, you're going to go to that liquid pool, and so on down the line. It's going to be even across the board, and one is going to feed the next. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to create an ecosystem where people don't have to decide anymore, do I need to jump into this or that? With that being said, the products launches are going to have fair launches with them. You're going to have an opportunity to invest in the product individually. If you want to wrap it all the way up in the Dex Runner, you're going to have the opportunity. You know what I mean? There's going to be all types of situations, reasons that you want to hold Nucleus. The Nucleus holders, we promised they would be given the alpha information to any upcoming launches. Well, if you're not a Nucleus holder anymore of a certain level, well, you're not going to be privy to that information. So, I mean, there's always going to be, we're going to keep a benefit for people that hold Nucleus at all times, whether it's Nucleus Z, whether it's this Nucleus that's here now. Nucleus is always going to be that lowest price point to the products that we offer. Like, I know a lot of people, so we have, for instance, at least 7 or 8 projects that people want us to launch for them, whether they want us to launch it alone, like singly, or a la carte using some of our partners. That's going to be their choice. But we already have multiple lined up, and we have multiple people begging, not begging, but saying, "Can we just launch now?" We wish we could. The launch pad's ready. We absolutely could do it. It just wouldn't be right. It would be in the wrong order. It wouldn't be following the roadmap. And this is the only way we can kind of give back a little extra present to the community without breaking the roadmap. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm going to want in. So there's a coin, for instance, that he wants to raise it. He wants to do it by pre-sale. And we promised everybody, you know, a fair, everything would be fair, audited. It would be protected, the whole 9. So we're going to run the pre-sale through the Next Runner platform. I mean, rightfully so. And it won't be going to a private address anymore. It'll be going to like a staking, or not the staking, but like a deployer wallet. And it'll deploy their airdrop to them properly. Well, the people that are going to have first dibs on that are going to be the Nucleus holders. They're going to have their first dibs, you know, like that's going to be, that's the benefit of being a Nucleus holder. Somebody had mentioned one time in one of the voice chats, Nucleus is more like a book of tickets from the boardwalk, where you buy a book of tickets, and if you buy the $25 book, you get 25 tickets. But if you buy the $100 book, you get 150 tickets. So that's Nucleus is always going to, Nucleus is going to be, its value is always going to be in holding it and using it for the products that you want, you know, the way you want to use it, and it's going to be all revenue generating. It's not going to be, you know, we're not saying you're going to have access to a boxing match, or we're not saying you're going to have access to a concert. We're telling you is you're going to have access to revenue generating products. And if you want to be an investor in them, you'll need Nucleus if you want first dibs.
Sorry, my phone cut out there. So you're saying that if you're a Nucleus Z holder and a new coin launches on Dex Runner, you're going to have the option to participate in a pre-sale for that coin?
If it pre-sales to what they want, yes. If it's not, if it's a fair launch, you're going to have access to know when, time. You're going to have access to all that kind of stuff. You know, like the stealthy stuff. Like a stealth launch, for instance, will still be a stealth launch in the essence that For instance, when I do my stealth launches, I have an order I go and a strategy of how I pass the information out, and I pass it out in a way that it goes to people that I know how to act responsibly with having that information and being privy to buying that early. And it goes to people that know how to trade and don't have usually bad intentions. Well, being a Nucleus holder, you're going to be that stealth team. You'll be that stealth team, whether it's 300 of you, whether it's 5,000 of you, whatever the case may be. You'll have it. It'll be green lighted. You know, it'll be as we explained that no type of token will be turned away as long as it's not a scam or a rug of some sort. If they want to be a casino play, they can run a casino play. They just gotta advertise it and market it properly and transparently. Well, if you want to play in a casino play that night, you're welcome to do it. You're going to have access to know that this is a green lighted. It is launched from the Nucleus or from the DexRunner platform launchpad, and you're getting the contract in the right place because you're a Nucleus member. It's going to be available to Nucleus members. This platform is a social platform. Status of your status in the platform is going to be as you recognized if you logged in already to the amount of tokens you hold.
So I'm in a Telegram where the person that set up the Telegram, you can only participate in that Telegram if you hold like a coin. So you can do something similar where only Nuke Z holders have access to like a Telegram or some other platform, so that they're the ones only receiving this information. It's not going to be a public Telegram like the current Nucleus Telegram.
Well, there's two answers to that. There will be a public available, but there will be that VIP level available too. So the VIP level will get access to all this information in advance. Does that make sense? Like, we're not going to close it off to anybody. Nobody's going to be told they can't do it. But if you're a Nucleus VIP member, then that tells us that you're responsible enough to be in that position to have that information and be trusted with it.
And a Nucleus VIP member would be a Nucleus holder with how many coins?
Well, as of now, like the platform actually tells you when you log in where you're at.
Oh right, yeah. We did the next one. I think you only need like 500 million.
Whatever, yeah, it tells you. There's 4 levels that it tells you. I don't know if anybody's logged in from different wallets to check it to see how it works, but I have. I've logged in from wallets that have 0 Nucleus, that have maybe a couple Nucleus, that have a lot of Nucleus, and that have that seed level Nucleus. So, you know, all that's going to remain the same.
One Lambo.
When Lambo. I'm guessing. I wish I gotta start opening the roadmap up when I do these AMAs.
The roadmap says, I'll help you. The roadmap says CEX listing Q2 of 2022. So would that be the When Lambo?
Yeah, I think your Lambo. You could probably start looking at colors and test driving around then. Yeah.
I'm looking at Christmas. I got faith in you guys.
Christmas.
I got faith.
Yeah, I mean, Christmas is going to be good this year for everybody. Either way, I mean, DexRunner will be launched, you know, by Christmas and before Christmas. I'm telling you that because I plan on going away for Thanksgiving this year, and I can't go away if I have to guard this. And I do go away for Christmas every year because my fiance's family lives in Florida, so. Yeah, this will all be done by Christmas. The Lambo is gonna be on the same day that the roadmap says it's gonna be. I'm probably not buying a Lambo. I have a kid. My
Why?
midlife crisis is close. Huh?
Your kid would love a Lambo.
He would. He really would. He loves cars, but I wouldn't love trying to squish all of them in there. My kid, my soon-to-be wife, and we got a little
Okay.
dog, everything else.
When Lambo limousine? Fine.
Lambo limousine will be the day that it says on that roadmap.
All right.
Yeah.
When hot dog stand.
Tomorrow it is. I'm just kidding.
I'm pretty sure almost everybody in this chat can get a hot dog stand off their nuke tank right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure of it.
Well, don't forget, there's people that just got in recently, and so,
Yeah.
it makes you nervous. It makes you nervous, it sounds like things are skewed a little bit towards people that got in, 10 days before me, you know what I mean?
Well, they're not skewed that way. No, they're not skewed that way. It's more that it has been announced since day one that each day will be the lowest entry point to what's to come. So we never held back on that part of it. We always made sure that everybody did know that, that wasn't a shill campaign or a marketing campaign or any of that. It was that get it while it's low, get it while it's cheap, because as it gets more expensive, you'll regret it. Sellers being wrecked, like that was like finally a true statement, like people that if they want to, they're welcome. Everyone's welcome back. We want everyone. The whole goal of this project was unity and for everyone to make money. They were the two goals of these projects. The utilities behind them were the safetiness, to start removing the opportunity of scams and rugs. They were like the utilities. The other utilities being like getting to that layer 2 spot first, which coincidentally is starting to come out in publications all over the place. So, there was a lot that had to happen to prove proof of our work before proof of work was something real. If for some people know what I mean when I say that, but that's the truth. So it's not skewed. You still have an opportunity to be in that position. It's just going to cost you a little bit more.
So it sounds like really with Nucleus Z, there's going to be we're going to continue to see it keep going up as there's more, capital being injected, and then eventually, probably the biggest jump will be around the when the central exchanges kind of come up. Does that sound right?
Yep, exactly.
Perfect.
We've just found that I can tell that there's some non-believers, and that's okay. And then we also think that, and there's some people that need their money earlier, and that's okay. And there's some people that like to trade and they just can't help themselves, and that's okay. With all that being said, we don't want those people to miss out, over a couple of weeks. So we're going to give it to them in a couple of weeks. We don't want anyone to be mad at us. We've had enough people mad at us because, the price doubled since they sold. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't my fault. I told you that was going to happen. I told you before the VC put in the $100,000 that changed the market cap. I told you before the second VC came in. I told you before the third one came in. It was always a 6:30 a.m. announcement. Hey guys, I know it's a Friday. I know everyone's used to seeing blood today. Well, it ain't going to be like that for you. By tomorrow, this number's not going to be real. And I don't think there's been a time that hasn't happened.
I honestly wish we can go back to the twos.
Thing is, it's never going to be that because the liquid pool is bigger now. The impact's going to be different. You're not going to get the same amount of tokens. You'll get it. Right now, it's cheaper. It is a little bit cheaper again. So you're going to get a better rate today than you will tomorrow or the next day or whatever the case may be. But that liquid pool is going to keep growing, and the price impact's going to keep going. It's going to keep changing. and the amount of tokens you get for 1 ether is going to keep changing.
Yeah, I did the math back in the twos, and it's like, oh my god, dude, I regret it so bad.
I know. I regret it. When I finally told myself, I started, and I'm not gonna. I mean, this is me being vulnerable with you now. I got scared at some point when I realized how much money that we had spent between Dex Runner and Nucleus, and I didn't see anything happening anytime soon. And it was to the point where we have analysts that were paying out of pocket constantly to make sure they can tell us the threat levels on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis. What's the threat level if 3 top holders sell right now? What do I need to know? How much do I need to have ready for that to compare, to compete? You know, that was really how vulnerable that's how vulnerable I felt the whole time that this was going on. Now that we're up in that area where, you know, it is what it is, we've reached it, the product's made, is ready for rollout. Honestly, we could roll it out tomorrow and it wouldn't matter. The only thing is we're going to be waiting longer again to get that initial development offering back. That's what initial development offering is. It's really because we funded this ourselves. We need, at some point in this whole thing, we need our savings accounts back. And we can't get it by selling our tokens, because once the teams are selling their tokens, we all know what happens there. So we had to have a full in and out plan. We had to have a plan drawn out from beginning to end for all of you, or else all of us wouldn't have reached that goal. And the most fair way possible to do that was to buy our own position and not be able to sell it until that last day. Well, we're at that day, well, you know, if I have a core member that wants to sell his tokens in 3 weeks or 4 weeks from now, he's welcome to. You know, he knows the end result's going to be. He might need it. He might not need it. He might be impatient. I don't know. But it's going to be available.
When was that end day?
As soon as the seed sale ends, so we're giving it 3 to 4 more weeks. We're not going to close it on the exact day of that 4th week. You know, we want to give everybody the opportunity to get in, and they might need that extra week. They might need that extra paycheck. I don't know, but I don't want to take that opportunity from anyone. The same way we're giving Nucleus Z to the public early is the same way I'll probably run the seed sale a week longer. But once that's over, you know, it's a matter of days. It'll be announced. It'll be a matter of days. It'll be a few more tests to make sure the swap's ready, the redeem's ready, and you know, I'll tell you, if it's 6:30 a.m. on this date, well, that's the date that the platform will open, and you can go to town if you want. You can insert your tokens, you can keep them, you can do this, you can do that, but they're yours. They've always been yours. Hey, bud. Can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Okay, I was just making sure because I just jumped from car to speaker.
Another thing, if let's say at some point we're taking, let's say at some point, you know, you take out your Nuke Z, is there going to be like, I know there's no gas fees in the platform, but if you were to like take out your Nuke Z, I'm guessing convert it to ETH, then do you have to pay probably pretty high gas fees in ETH, or you know, how does that work?
Well, so if you took your Nuke Z out before and converted to ETH, it would be no different than swapping it out until it's on a central exchange. So whatever the gas is that day, that's going to be beyond us. What we're attempting to do is we're going to back all of this with an ether pool, and just like we're doing Dex Runner, and we're trying to attempt a way to come up with a swap for everybody not to have to pay gas fees. Unfortunately, we can't afford to convert everybody's Ethereum to Ethereum, it just wouldn't. The business model wouldn't work for us. So I would say on that day, okay, on that day, I would say if the gas is high, I would probably leave it in the staking platform until it is a good day to sell. That would be my suggestion. All I can do is make suggestions from here on out with that kind of stuff. If we're now that we're giving it to the public, if you wait until that central exchange picks it up, if it's only one or two, it could be three of them. I don't remember. I forget the number. I actually forget which exchange was taking it first. But if you wait till that day, then you won't have to. It won't be the same. It'll be like selling it on the open market and buying Ethereum with it, and you'll pay the fee that exchange charges. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I was just thinking, I was like, okay, imagine, you sell like, say 100 million Nucleus Z. I'm guessing that gas has got to be like
Yeah.
10 to 20K at least.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. It is, and but that's definitely going to be the case. But that's going to be I guess the penalty of, not the penalty. I don't even like to use the word penalty. That's going to be the cost of doing the business before the roadmap ends. The benefit is behind it. There really isn't that much of a benefit, except for the release of the tax, and it is also to prove that Nucleus Z is real. I think there's some non-believers out there, and not that I want to prove them wrong, but I do want to prove our project right. If that makes any sense. Yeah, without the ego part. You know what I mean? I just want to it's real. Nucleus Z is done. It's the audit. We'll even release the audit before we do it. It's all real.
And yeah, I mean,
So,
I'm guessing if you're taking out, let's say 100 million Nucleus at that point in time, and you paid the 20K, saying gas fees, I mean, you'd probably get out like 500K potentially.
Right. Well, some of us actually know what that's like because we've done it before. We've been in situations like that where we've had larger bags, and we know what it's like to sell something of that size. So, yeah, there's going to be a benefit to holding it. There's going to be multiple benefits to holding it. Actually, there will be the benefit of the status. There will be the benefit of the release of tax. There will be the benefit of no gas fees. There's going to be there's multiple reasons to hold it. I can only think of one not to.
Casey, what happens with this now, like twofold, right? So what happens to Nucleus? Does it go away when Nuke Z comes out? Like, I know that you've answered this a million times before. I'm just making sure that nothing changed, I guess, with the twofold.
Nothing's changed with that. Nothing's changed with that at all.
Okay.
No, but that's why we're going to open the platform for you early. We'll open the staking platform. This way you can just stake the Nucleus that you have. When you open it up, it'll still be Nucleus Z. You will have to make a choice that day if you want to sell your Nucleus or if you want to stake it. I mean, you don't actually have to make a choice. You can put it it'll still be in your wallet. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make a choice if you want to take your money out or if you want to leave it in. It'll be in your wallet or it'll be in a staking platform. That's the only choice you have to make.
Got it. Perfect.
And I don't think it's a hard choice. I mean, I shouldn't say it's not a hard choice. I don't think it's like we're putting like no dictatorship rules to it. You know what I mean? It's just that.
No, I don't think so at all. Right.
Yeah, it's just like you got to pick one or the other. Like, you can't have the best of 10 worlds. We're trying to give you the best of both.
Right. The team's being extremely generous with this. I mean, I admire it all. I respect it, and right on.
Thank you. Yeah, and just we want to keep rewarding everybody, and I hate to like harp on it, but I think that we would probably be at a much higher level, a price point right now if we didn't go through some of the terrorism that we went through with the way people kind of were irresponsibly selling. We don't know if it was purposefully or what the reasons were. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, they spent more and they bought the dips, and I'm pretty sure it removed a lot of buy pressure, which is unfair to all you. So being that that's been done, we all kind of think that maybe that might be part of the reason that no one's really like, either people have sold recently or have gotten out recently. Like, I don't understand why anybody would wait this long to get out anyway. If at this point, like, I would have got out at 3.9 million or whatever if I was going to do that. That's what I would have. Personally, I'm just giving you my personal truth. If I was going to if I planned on selling, I would have sold when at an all-time high. I wouldn't have waited until now. So now that people are selling, it's telling me there has to be something else going on, whether it be FUD, fear and unknown doubt, or whether it be they need it, or whether it be that they just don't believe in it. Whatever the case is, we're going to give them what they want.
Yeah. And coming from someone who's not going to sell, like, I feel better with this conversation. Like, so I'm not even saying like I respect this as in the sense of like, thanks for giving me my out. Like, I'm saying it as in like, I am even more confident to continue holding, just because I mean, no one likes to see the chart like that and it sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. The roadmap is there. I believe in the team, and I think the holders will win in this case. So, right on.
Yeah, what's funny? A lot of times we always call it that. It's like that period. I forget what Shawnee has a name for it. It's when it's the period after the the hype kind of dies down. And with Nucleus, I don't know that the hype ever died down. I can tell you, I ran into people over in Vegas that were holders of Nucleus, and they don't know us. There's a guy that I met who owns a company called Digital Asset Protection, and further looking into it, they've been out for years. They've been around for years, and it's not about protecting a token at all. It's about protecting. He protects like hedge funds and other digital assets. And we had spoke about it, and he's actually a Nucleus holder. And we were speaking for a couple minutes before we even got to that point. And he explained what his product was. Absolutely, he's coming on board of the Dex Runner platform. I was going to say his name, but he's not here to endorse that right now. And but yeah, so like the hype is still there. There's no fear in that. It's just that we can tell that people want their money, or for whatever their reason is, and we want to give it to them in the most fair way possible. And there is a piece of respect that goes back to the community, even though that the people have sold. Some people have sold and left recently, or like later on in this whole thing. That I still have that mutual respect for them, that they held out as long as they could. You know what I mean? Because I don't know their reasoning. You never know their reasoning for why someone does what they do. You never know who you're standing next to at the time in life.
Yeah. And when you look at the chart from beginning to end, even with what's going on, like, it's an extremely healthy chart. Like, this is the first dip, like, or that not dip,
Yes.
but what it was. I mean, and it's not even really that huge.
It's not dust
of a dip,
usually,
right? And it's not even like, this is in my mind like a very small blip. I feel like there's been a lot of talk about something that I'm like, I don't see it. Like, yeah, it's like, it was high, and it were, no dips are ever great, but like, this isn't like bad. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't see it. But
it's not,
I mean?
really isn't. Well, the floor, that's the thing, is the floor has definitely been set, and people, I thought the floor's still there. whether
Right.
everybody knows it or not. If you really, I mean, Xerion's not good for many things, to be honest with you, because Xerion just gets people in trouble. But if you use our Xerion and you do the 1 day, 1 month, 1 year, and you look at it over time, it has increased the whole time.
Yep.
It hasn't had a negative month or a negative week. We have had negative days, but it hasn't been negative. It just hasn't, the growth has slowed down, and some of the people that weren't interested in either the product that we're offering or any of the project at all, they have exited, and that's okay. But usually what I know most of us are used to, especially with real projects, is seeing dust for a while. And then when the utility comes out, everybody's has that story that they look in their Coinbase wallet and sees what it would have been worth if they would have just waited.
Yeah.
I know I have like 10 of them in my wallet. You probably wouldn't be speaking to me today if I just would have listened.
With the zero tax on Nuke Z, will that zero tax also apply to wallet transfers? Because currently, if you transfer a Nuke between wallets, you get hit with a small tax.
Okay, so there's a fee of transfer. The fee of transfer there is for multiple reasons. One of them was to protect, the community in a sense that we all know that people buy from multiple wallets, and what would be the reason for wanting to transfer your tokens other than to be like a sleeping whale, right? Which in turn could be a bad actor, and their intentions could be totally immoral. The fee of transfer is there to prevent that from happening first and foremost. Secondly, it's we don't. It's a very low tax token. There's not like a ton of revenue or income that comes from it. It works off the volume, so there's not like, it's just it had to be put in place there for multiple reasons. One of them being the other one the protection being the revenue part of it. Whereas like, say, you're doing it to try to get around to avoid the tax, and you think in your head by combining these 3 wallets, you're going to pay less tax. That's not the case. As I think it was Mad was speaking earlier, and he said, you could be in the upwards of paying $10,000 or $20,000 in gas for selling $130,000 or $150,000 bag. Like, that stuff is unavoidable. And if we can't avoid it, then like you can't avoid it. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much we can give for free. But the fee of transfer is there for a reason. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So the fee of transfer will still exist even with Nuke Z.
I actually would have to refer to Ghost to that. I don't think he's on the line, but I'd have to refer to Ghost to that, because if it's a zero tax, I don't see that.
Hey,
I don't know
Casey.
why
He
that it
just
would.
messaged in the chat. Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's here.
yeah.
No, will there still be a fee of transfer?
Yeah, someone just told me that someone was asking about the fee of transfer. So the only reason there's a fee of transfer right now is because Nucleus was launched as a low leak fair launch token. So we didn't want someone to buy up the max supply at launch using multiple wallets and then combine it to like nuke the chart or something like that. That's why fee of transfer is there right now. But as soon as Nucleus goes Nucleus zero tax, the fee of transfer will go away too. Since at this level, there's not a big threat of someone buying up use multiple wallets and nuking the chart, because they will be buying up at this high price. So yeah, the FOT will go away when a nuke goes Nucleus zero.
Great, thanks a lot.
I'm gonna head out again. I was in the middle of something, but if there's any questions at all, mention me in the chat and I'll jump in and try to answer them.
Thanks, Ghost.
Hey, Casey, what did you say about the timing of the release of Nuke Z?
So the first Nucleus Z will be released as soon as the seed sale is over. Then the staking platform will open that exact same time. We are going to give you the biggest bump we can in price at that time for the people that don't really want to wait out the rest of the roadmap. After that, when the final product rolls out and the roadmap is met properly, at that time, that'll be the price that we promised. Does that make sense? It's all in the roadmap. Everything's still on the roadmap. It's just like a little insert or a caveat to the roadmap where once the seed sale ends, instead of making you wait another 4 to 8 weeks after that, we're going to launch it a couple days after that. As soon as the launch pad is available for use, Nuke Z will be the first thing launched from it. It's available for use now. We're just not using it. Believe me, we wish we were using it. It just wouldn't be. It would be backwards.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, we want to. Again, this is just another way to give everybody what they want. Some people don't want to wait it out. Some people don't believe in it, and some people can't wait it out. Whatever the case is, no one's mad. We just want to make it, again, proof of our work, and that's really what I've been taught by Sean and Ghost since day one. We've been able to teach each other so much stuff along the way. The way Dex Runner's Dex Rash token came to life, it wasn't an argument or a debate, but it was a conversation that we had probably for 3 days straight, of how it had to work. And it had to work that way because we had to protect everybody, or else it doesn't make sense. If we didn't do it that way, then we're making a false promise. And so we created the share token, right? And that's proof of our work. And again, Nucleus Z is more proof of our work. Just to give, it's almost like a teaser in a sense too. Like, if you want to go for it, go for it. If you want to, wait, but it'll be out. It'll be there. And then you can wait for the central exchange to pick it up, or you cannot. You can sell it before. It's totally up to you.
Everyone's wallets are gonna look like Shiba's charts.
That's the goal, man. We really hope so. I know a lot of people, and I've had the pleasure and honor of meeting a lot of people that were in early on tokens like that, on Shiba or Doge or all kinds of stuff. People even on Ethereum, like, they bought Ethereum at under $100 or around $100. Like, we all know those. Well, they'll all know those people or have heard those stories. We want to give that story. We want to be able to give you that story, not for the fame, not for anything else, except for, financial freedom, generational wealth. It's changed. When I get a screenshot from a mom saying you changed, like, she's telling me she cashed out. Basically, she sent me a screenshot saying, this money has changed my life. I'm a single mother. I was on the phone with a friend last night that's in Nucleus, and I never even knew he sold, if he held. I never knew anything, and he thanked me for his house. I was like, "You bought a house?" He's like, "Yeah, off Nucleus." Like, cool. And kudos to being such a good, like, to being such a good trader, to be able to do that, to not hurt the chart. That he was never one of those people. Like, I know who that person is. He's a friend. I never even knew. And I'm telling you, the guy still holds more than any of you. You know what I mean? So, like, there's a right and a wrong way to do things, and he knows how to do it. Will he be available for educational videos or educational sessions once Dex Runner, yes, he will be. He'll be 100% available. If it's once a week, if it's an hour a week, something like that, to try to, so he can tell everybody how he did it. Because again, the goal is that everyone gets this, that gets the financial freedom, and this doesn't have to be the end of our team either. We're going to continue to put out projects and utilities, and we have a bigger plan. Great conversation I had today with someone and like it just aligns perfectly, and so it's like there's more to come. There's so much more to come, and holding Nucleus is just going to be, the benefit to it. So every time when we tell you that this is the lowest price point, it's the lowest entry point, it's like getting tickets to a show, pre-sale before they go on public sale. Same thing. Best analogy someone came up with was that ticket, that ticket analogy when they compared it to a book of tickets on a boardwalk or at a carnival. Because that's what it is, right? Like, for us to think we're going to be the next cryptocurrency that is going to be spent throughout the world, it's preposterous. It's like, stop. It's 1 in a million chance that's going to happen. For us to think that we can create an ecosystem that helps people generate wealth, that's something we can do. And there's work involved in it. Whether the work is on both sides, the work comes from you as the community buying the supply up and holding it and educating and helping, whether it be you're in the Telegram answering questions for a newcomer, if you're telling a friend so they can also get in on it and make some money for themselves. So there's work in it for everybody. So, it's not just like a raffle ticket or free money. It's just to the point where if you do this, you'll have this. Same thing I was told when I was in like first grade. You can, if you do this, you'll be this. And only thing I'm pissed about is my guidance counselor in high school probably should have gave me a better direction. Like, and there's some things I was better at. I'm pretty pissed at her. She should have told me that there was other ways that I could have made money in life other than their way. But other than that, everything else that I was told since I was a little kid has really been true. If you do this, you will get this. And that's that's basically all we've done. If you hold this, you will hold that. If you don't, you don't. And I give my 6-year-old the same concept. I give him the same kind of decisions in life. Yes, you will be in trouble if you do that. Well, what's going to happen? You're not going to have your Nintendo Switch anymore. Is that it? No, I can keep going. You can stay in your room all day too. But like, if you do that, there will be a consequence. It could be a negative or a positive consequence. If you go back in the steps, I'll buy you a new video game. If you hold Nucleus till this day, you're going to have a lot of money in your pocket. Does anybody feel? How about that? Does anybody feel that it's unfair, or that we're doing something wrong by going this way? Does anybody not like this decision?
I think it's pretty cool that you're kind of rolling it out, and people will be able to see the price jumps and kind of, I think it'll add more like validation as well and credibility.
Yeah. That's definitely part of the strategy. The other thing that I don't know if everybody's understands completely. Now, when these venture capitalists come in to invest in Dex Runner, some of them aren't even that interested in Nucleus. They're looking at the long-term wealth here. Like, people that come in at that type of money, they're looking for, like, an investment that constantly gains money the whole time that it's there. That's what Dex Runner is going to be about. So the people that want to come in at that level might not even have any interest in Nucleus itself or Nucleus Z, but they're going to have to buy it. That's the thing. you have to have 5% of your purchase has to be done with Nucleus, whether it be Nucleus Z, whether it be the Nucleus tax token. When you buy in the DEX runner, you have to have 5% of your purchase done with Nucleus. What that does for you as holders is it's going to increase the price constantly. Now, what I explained before is if all of you at one time decide to stake your tokens, all of your Nucleus got staked, right? It's out of circulation. Now, all that's left in circulation is what's left in circulation. These VCs have to come in and buy it up, and they have to buy it. Each level will be higher and higher and higher. So the first set of investor comes in and he buys, we're just going to use a round number. He wants to spend 100,000 on Dex Runner. Well, he's going to spend 5,000 on Nucleus. If you're all locked up, the price can't go down when he makes that buy. That's for sure. That's a $5,000 purchase that goes up. So now the next guy that comes in and wants to buy another 100,000, it's going to cost them a little bit more than 5,000 for that 5%, because the price just went up, and then so on down the line. That was the theory and the method behind it all. And it still is. That's in a perfect world. If everybody could afford to do that and not need their money or want it or have the patience to do it, that would be my recommendation, because you would force the public that doesn't know about it yet. Just like the gentleman that said that, he came in a little later, so it almost felt skewed towards someone that was there early. Well, they were there early because either they were tipped off, told, heard the hype, however they found out. They found out. There wasn't a very big marketing campaign much behind Nucleus at all. There was a lot of people asking for marketing campaigns, but there wasn't really any marketing campaigns that were done other than strategic organic marketing, where we used specific people that we knew were good at networking, consulting, and so on and so forth. And that's how the marketing money was spent properly. And it was done for a reason. It was done because the name of the game was holding the most tokens, right? Now, I'm going to give you, for instance, we go and we get one of these Twitter influencers or YouTube influencers that sends, 1,000, 2,000 buyers come flying in, and everybody comes flying in. And what we're taught is to shave, right? Shave at the top, shave at the top. And now all those 1,000 people, they flip their money or they take their loss or they do what they do and they leave. They exit. And what we're left with is the same holders. They shave some profits off, but their supply has decreased tremendously. Now, 2 months down the road, Nucleus Z comes out, and you're kicking yourself in the ass saying, why did I shave that ether off or half an ETH off or whatever for $2,000 when a billion tokens is now worth, $50,000 or $60,000, and you sold it for a measly little 0.25. And that was the reason that I never sent this big marketing campaign or this big marketing push. And we let this grow organically for people that wanted to invest, to learn, to be a part of whatever the reasoning for it was for wanting to be here. That it was a protective. The marketing money was used properly and to protect the community. So the marketing is going to start now. Then just that's something that is something that's going to happen now, because it's time. We're at that. We've hit our goals on the roadmap. We've hit our price points. We've hit every promise and delivery. Now I'm telling you that marketing is starting now. It literally this morning we kind of already came up with a date of which the first campaign will roll out. We have and then we have the Angels that they're doing like their press release stuff, and believe it or not, I know everybody has an opinion about everybody, right? Well, they did an amazing job. No, a lot of people don't know what they did behind the scenes. They did an amazing job bringing venture capitalists into this program. They did an amazing job getting the word out. Like, how did people that lived across the world or country know about us when I went to Coin Agenda the other day? Like, how did they know? Like, I know I didn't tell them, and I can tell you that some of these people ain't on Telegram, because when they made their token, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago, and their utility is so far into the real world that half of us don't even know about it. Some of us use some of these utilities for people that I met the other day, and we don't even know. You would have never known where that started. That utility started, and it started with the tokens at some point. So those people, some of those people, they don't go on Telegram, WhatsApp, or social media looking for the next new token coming out. They're too busy with their own utility, but they were Nucleus holders. That was humbling. It was amazing. It was, I can't say enough about it.
Thanks, Casey.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Everyone in this community, I want everyone to know you all played a part, whatever it was, you all played a part in how we got here today. And we appreciate you still, and that's really, again, why let's give more back. Let's give a little more back. And now really all we're given is an option. It's just an option, right? Giving you one extra option. You want to stay, you want to hold, you want to go, you need the money. You might need the money. I know, things come up in life. That dream home might have just came up, and you needed 20,000 for down payment, so you want to sell, part of your supply. I get it. Like, that's what it is. Well, we want to give you that option. We don't want to say to you, well, you're still, 10 weeks away from this amazing payday. And some people probably, I know I still can't sleep at night knowing that that's the end result. You know how many times I have to tell my fiance or my kid that this will all be over soon? It doesn't mean it's really going to be over, right? But the intense 24-hour a day kind of thing, being up all day and night answering questions, it's going to, once it all comes, it's in operation, the team's growing by the minute. I'm so confident and happy with some of the people that we've acquired as partners, to come on board, to become part of our team. And it's growing by the minute, so everyone's job is just going to get easier and easier. There's nights that I can't sleep because I can't wait for that day to come. Not just because of the money and and like the wealth that'll come behind it, just to have the freedom back. Like, that's like, it's like winning in a sport event when you were a kid. Like, I was a fighter and a wrestler, and it was nothing better feeling that you could have other than winning against another person. Like, it's the same type of accomplishment for us with this project. So that's the excitement we have behind it. Yep, Nucleus was born to go parabolic. I'm just looking at the chat now and see if any questions weren't answered. And honestly, if anybody has anything, like, not that it's negative, if anybody has anything that's objective, I should say, I would love to hear about it, because I want to know, what people. I want to know what the public thinks. If there's something I can do to improve, and it's possible, like, you can come up with the concept or the idea. But I'm open. We're open. I say we, yeah. So it doesn't always have, if you have anything, and anybody that knows me too, all you got to do is message me. When I do see the message, I will answer, and I usually say, "Hey, call me." Like, why? You don't. I don't. There's nothing to hide. I don't have to try to type it out and try to explain it and leave you in the unknown. I always just say, "Hey, call me. Let me do my best to explain it to you," because I know in my head I can understand it, and I have a pretty messed up head. So I can imagine what it sounds like coming out of my mouth sometimes. People are like, well, "What did he just say?"
I think the biggest issue that we have right now is just gas. The gas fees has been ridiculous.
They are through the roof. $400 or $500 to make a buy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's the upgrade that's that. Is everyone aware of the upgrade that is happening with Ethereum?
No, can you touch on that?
I mean, I can't go deep into it. I haven't had the time to get into the actual science or technology behind it, but there's an upgrade going on with Ethereum. It should be over. We were hoping it would be over by today, tomorrow. It'll be over pretty shortly. If you remember, just when they did the London fork, it was the same way.
Yeah,
It was.
it started. I think
Yeah.
it started on the 27th. They said it might run like almost a week,
Yeah.
but it's more towards like layer 2 things. But it's
Right.
kind of they're using that and gas fees to make a massive burn as well.
Yes.
So it's that's why gas fees are off the roof.
I appreciate you knowing that.
Yeah.
Almost it's you almost think I should know that because we've done so much investigation on the layer 2, but we're at the point now where we have our layer 2 product and we've used it, and it is going to be favorable to everybody. Everyone's going to be very happy when layer 2 comes out. It's just the speed and the price is just going to change tremendously, and you're going to be very happy to know if there's any old token owners here, creators or developers that have a token that has been launched and then turned to dust, and they just never actually acquired enough liquid to do the project they wanted to do. Like, reach out to me for real. On layer 2, we can there's a shot we can migrate it, and we can do it for a lot less expensive for you. We could take that old token and relaunch it for you, and you might have another chance at it. You might not have to feel like it is a total failure. I know a few of them that already have plans, and they're already asking, well, how much is it going to cost? I mean, I don't know the exact price, but I can tell you that to airdrop 150 people right now would be, well over $10,000, well over $10,000. And that's just like to airdrop them. That's not the cost of it, the mint thing or anything else, to make the pair. I went to make a liquid pair for like a high volume token not that long ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. It was going to cost me $3,500 in gas to wrap one ETH with one ETH worth of tokens. It wasn't even one whole ETH. It was like a 0.8 and a 0.8. $3,500 that I was not going to see back. It was going to go in gas money. That kind of stuff is all going to be corrected, with this layer 2. That's going to be something that people are really. It's going to make this really exciting. Now, do I know that if layer 1's still going to have these gas fees involved? I'm sure they are. Maybe not as high, but they are going to have like that elite status. As far as when it comes to the usage, like Visa, MasterCard, they already have publications out talking about using Ethereum layer 2. That's how they're going to train. When they start doing proving the point of work rather than the point of stake, and it's just going to be it's there. It's faster. It's going to be cost effective, and it's going to be accurate. We're accomplishing milestones.
Yeah, that's why I think it's pretty cool that we're gonna be on layer 1 and layer 2. So it's gonna give so many opportunities for different things.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do hope I really do hope a lot of people take advantage of this layer 2 bridge that have or know of old tokens that really did have good use cases. They just got nuked or went to dust for whatever reason. Maybe because they weren't experienced enough. Maybe because somebody had a bad actor in their bunch. Whatever the reason is, it could give them a new chance, a new life, which is, that's a pretty big part for me. That's a pretty big part of my passion in this. You know what I mean? I have in my wallet. If all of them come back to life again, well, I'll take you with me because we'll all be on the same party boat. I have,
Yeah, I got a massive list too.
and I'm afraid to send them out. Like at this point, but then you get dusted. You never know what kind of things are in your wallet, and so you just got a wallet full of dust. Imagine,
Yeah.
imagine if you could turn that back into something that you can convert out again. Which with I haven't checked in a while, on the layer 2. But there was a function at the time that you could take any ERC and convert it over, and now that $50 token you have that's left, that's $50 that's left in your wallet, you can't get out because it's $200 in gas anyway. So what's the point? Well, that's our goal is that you can send that over the bridge, do what you wish with it, and get it, and then bring it back. That's definitely one of the big goals for the RB bridge and the RB pad.
That kind of makes me glad I kept all of those.
Yeah, I tried to do it. So I'll tell you, 8 months ago, when we first did it, when we first built the bridge, I tried to do it, and it wasn't recognizing. It was the problem. It wasn't recognizing some of the tokens that have turned to dust, and it was more the tokens that were only maybe made it a month, 2 months, 3 months, that kind of thing. It recognized the tokens that were like active on lists and stuff like that, but it didn't recognize a lot of the things that were dust. But I'm pretty confident that it's going to shortly. Is an ERC is an ERC is an ERC, and that's all that matters. You're just putting different names behind it. And as long as the LP pool is still there, there's a value to it. It's getting it out without the gas price is the problem.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Sure is. But we want to make this marketplace, this one-stop shop, this world for you guys, and it's almost in my normal fashion, right, to say, I wish I could tell you what was next, but I really wish I could tell you what was next. The conversation I had today on the way home from my office, it was just like the stars aligned finally. It was exactly what we're doing on a larger scale, and it was almost like the plan was thought out and it was premeditated, and just another genius added to the portfolio. That's what's next. It's going to be amazing. The next step in this whole thing, I wouldn't expect to see that for months down the road. You might hear about the concept sooner than later, but man, it's going to be so cool. So cool. And it was a perfect storm of people that came together to do it.
Yeah, it's like the other day, I'm like, damn, I put all my eggs in one basket, right? And then Ghost is like, well, he's like, not necessarily. He's like, there's multiple baskets.
Yeah.
So there's like so much going on that it's crazy. I don't get why. Well, I understand why people are selling off now, but
Yeah.
like really knowing and understanding what's to come, because like the crypto space is still pretty early. It's just that time moves a different way, I guess. Days feel like weeks and weeks feel like months. That it's
Sure
just people
does.
are not patient, you know?
Yeah, that's the truth. The other day when we were walking along, and one of the guys turned to me and said, "Wait, how long ago did you think that happened?" I said, "I don't know. It was like last year, right?" He was like, "No, it was like a couple months ago." I was like, "What?" No. He's like, "Yeah, I know the date." I was like, "Oh, okay, you're right. I'm wrong." it Crypto, a day is a year, and a minute's an hour, and it's crazy. And we love it, and we're addicted to it.
Yeah, that's the sad part.
Bad but good,
Yeah,
because it's
definitely good.
ours. It is. It's ours.
Yeah,
This is one thing. It's ours. Finally, like no
yeah,
one can
like
take this from us.
I went through like there was a time where there was like a massive wave of just rug pulls and honeypots, and it's like, God, when is it gonna end? And then I ended up here, and I'm like, thank you. I lost so much
Yeah.
money on so many things. It's like, God,
You want to hear something funny? How much I'm addicted to it. After like week 2, because I didn't get to invest or play or do anything with anything for like 2 weeks. I went out and got honey powdered and rugged on purpose. I'm not kidding. I didn't care. I literally waited for a live pair to happen, and I just threw something at it. And if the chances of being in a rug were like 99 to 1, and it was, right? And like I'm just that much I'm that hooked on it, on the life, on the culture. I don't know. You might be like, is this kid an idiot? It's the truth. I needed to feel again. I didn't care if it was feeling lost or what it was, but I waited by unit. I sat there. I think I waited up for like 3 hours for a pair to go live, and just threw something at it, and it was a honey pot, and I didn't care. I went to bed happy that night. I'm not saying that I like that. I'm saying that that's how much I'm addicted to it, and I love it. And I try not to use the word degen ever, because I never want to offend anybody. But when I talk about myself, like, absolutely.
Casey, I was wondering how many people are on the team?
Now,
Yeah.
if I'm counting all the verbal commitments, 2, 4, 5. We're about 10 and 7 admins, or 7 or 8 admins, I think. So about 18 now, plus the other. There was 18 junior devs. I know 2 of them got let go for a couple different reasons. Um, One of them tried launching a token saying that he was a Nucleus developer. He got himself let go. So you're talking right now, we're probably sitting at 18, 20, 22.
Nice.
Yeah, by the time Dex Runner's finished, I'd expect there to be a good 30 to 40.
Casey, someone named Al has their hand raised.
Okay. Oh, is he muted? I see he's muted. Oh, I see it. Why does it say, oh, allowed to speak? I don't know why he's well,
Yo, yo, what up, Casey?
what's going on?
Good, man. Hey, question for you. I know you said you can only make suggestions. What
Yeah.
do you suggest for somebody maybe holding less than 1 billion, coins?
I'm going to make the same suggestion I made for myself. Is if you can get to that billion mark, great. If you can't, you're going to be okay. My suggestion to anybody and everybody is to do what I'm doing, because it's a guarantee from if you do it that way. And it's basically this: I'm staking my Nucleus 0. Whatever's left, I'm purchasing my Dex runner. I'm staking my Nucleus 0, whatever's left over. So as we all noticed, if we made purchases in the Dex Rash, it takes it out for you. When you're done, you still have your whole supply of Nucleus left. That's minus the 5%. I'm taking that other and I'm staking it all. I'm going to reap the rewards of the reflections and the burn. Once everything has come to fruition and the plan's all in place and the correction of the price is done, then I'm going to release it. And I'm actually going to, I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it. It's called Rect. It's going to be an app that's going to be attached to like swaps and different ways of purchasing and buying and selling your tokens. It's an amazing project. That's what I'm going to be using. I'm counting the minutes and days for Rec to come out, because what it's going to do is it's going to allow me to set the limit to how I want to sell. So I'm going to set it to basically sell at the peak every day, X amount of tokens for the most amount of money for the least amount of tokens. And that's what Rec's going to allow me to do. If anybody's looking for a new project and, I'm not telling you, I'm not telling you to dump Nucleus, obviously, but if you're looking for something else and you have something extra to look into, or you have something extra to invest, that's personally my opinion, and that's my goal. So my game plan, my personal roadmap is to use Rect once unstaked and let it kind of just give me a salary, whatever the case may be. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's my plan. I'm like counting the minutes for it. I'm like already gearing up for it. I'm thinking in my head, do I need to buy an extra computer? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? I was told there was a computer going to come out for it, like a little mini handheld device at some point for trading. Like, I can't wait for that, because if anybody, I say it every time, I'm a terrible, terrible trader. I buy, want to know what I'm really good at? Market making, because I buy the high and I sell the low. That's what I can do really well. I can buy a green candle all day long and I can sell when it's red. And so when I get this wrecked, that's not going to be a part of my life anymore, unless someone pays me to come
Is
in
it
and do it.
REKT or RKT?
REKT is how you spell it. RKT is the abbreviation, or like the ticker symbol.
Thanks, Casey. Appreciate everything you do. Gotta hop off.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to let everybody go too. I can leave it open if you'd like. I'm going to go and basically have dinner with the family and finish folding some clothes.
Okay, Casey, before